Hi, everybody. I might be on here a couple minutes early, but it is approximately 2 on Wednesday, and I'm Connie, and whew, has it been busy? Has anybody had a chance to really craft, card making, scrapbooking, anything? I feel like July is our hyper busy month. We have a lot of birthdays and celebrations and the 4th of July, and today is our wedding anniversary, and it is just one thing after another through July. And adding on to that is Convention for Close to My Heart. And Convention for Close to My Heart is next weekend, not this coming weekend, but next weekend. And so it starts on the 20th, and so I'd love to show you sneak peeks. I know a few things already, but there are people who paid big money to attend Convention, and I don't think that they would appreciate me sharing before Convention. So I will show you the color of the year and the retiring colors and things like that at the end of July. So in the meantime, I'm like, what am I going to show today? I have so many ideas going through my head. And one thing that keeps proving to be super popular is people keep asking me about this layout. Now, I know if you go onto YouTube, there's probably consultants who have created this layout because it is, like I said, super popular. And it is one of the things that made me fall in love with this paper pack because it is just gorgeous. It shows off all the different papers, and the colors are nice and soft, and you could use this layout with any paper pack and it would look great. But today I thought, let's recreate this. There's a lot to it, and I thought about doing it for your club layout, but I like to do something of my own design for that. I don't like to copy somebody else's idea. So today we're making this, and there's a lot of parts and pieces to it. So I just want to call your attention to that. Let me think before I get started if there's any things I want to remind you of. We have a couple of specials. They're under the promotions tab. Remember that you're still getting, make sure you add a VIP bundle to your order. If you order over $100, you get lots of free stuff. I had to order some gems because my special this month for my hostess club is anybody who buys a workshop, I send them a free pack of the sparkle gems. And so I had to order a bunch so that I would have them these style. And the my $100 special included a pack of the gold foil paper cardstock, a pack of the silver cardstock. I got these Sawyer die cuts, and I got some red and green sequins, which is perfect because I was kind of thinking about, I have a tag exchange coming up, and I was thinking about making it a shaker. So that's perfect. Anyway, what I love about this is Sawyer, which you may or may not remember, retired not too long ago, but these colors go with this Cape Cod paper pack. It's just amazing to me. I added a little bit of melon to some of the stamped images, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it even has melon. So I thought that was pretty cool because even the dark color goes with it. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you that because I was like, I certainly didn't have any of those left from when Sawyer was popular. Okay, let's talk about this layout. And remember that I'll probably pop on again possibly pop on again Friday or Saturday to show another technique. Like I said, this catalog and this month, I've ordered so many supplies and things that I love. I thought might as well show some techniques on top of my usual Wednesday. Anyway, I want to recreate this layout. And so what I did was I measured with a ruler from here to here, and it was 7.5. I think it was 7.5 if I remember correctly. Let me check. 7.25 inch square. So I cut from scratch paper a 7.25 inch piece of paper, and then I folded it in half, and then I folded it in half again. And when you unfold it, what that does is the halfway point right here gives you the 6-inch mark, and then half between 0 and 6, this point will give you the 3-inch mark, and this would be up to 12, right? So this would give you the 9-inch mark. Now, so that gives you a basic ruler for how big items are. Now, if you need it more detailed like me, I got out my ruler and I split it into thirds, and I actually made it an actual ruler. I actually put, you know, each inch on there. What I could have just done this first part, but it was just the idea that now I have a ruler for this layout. So when I'm recreating, if I really want it to be like a close match, I can put things down here. So like that white piece of paper is like, they used an 11.75 inch piece of paper. Now I'm cutting mine to 11.5 because I like a little more of this border showing. But, you know, using an entire sheet of cardstock for that little tiny 1/8 inch border all the way around, so we're going to gut that today. We'll do that in just a minute. The other thing is I was kind of curious what size of photo mat they used, and it goes from here to about 6.5. So they used a 4x6 photo, which you could probably eyeball that and know, but you know, sometimes they use 5x7s and you think, well, you know, just to double check. These little strips right here are the things I was the most curious about, because I could eyeball that and I could say, well, it's about 1 inch. It might be 1.25 inches. I'm not sure. So by putting my little ruler down, let me move it a little closer. By putting my ruler down on there, you can see it is 1.25 inches wide. So those are 1 1/4 inch strips, and we'll be making that as well. So now that I know the approximate size of things, the other thing that I just want you to see, I'm going to fold this over just so I'm not playing with those pages. Here at the bottom, we have this Happiness Comes in Waves paper and this Lagoon leaf print, and then there is a zip strip sticker down at the bottom, and we know a zip strip is 1/2 inch. That's not hard to measure, but when you look at the pattern papers, you know, the tallest part of that Happiness Comes in Waves is about 2.5, and the tallest part of the Lagoon print is about 1.5 inches. So, you know, when you're cutting your paper to tear, that gives you an approximate idea of how big of paper scraps you need, right? Okay, I'm just going to set that to the side for a moment. I want to do some of the messy work first. So, and the other thing is, I want to make a second page. I don't want a single page layout. I want a 2-page layout, and this does not have one. So I'm going to get creative on that. But I do know I want it to match with the same Lagoon border, and I want the same size of white cardstock, and I want the same torn edge on the bottom. So that part I want to match. Where the way the photos lay out over here is going to look different. So let's start there. I cut my white paper down. I cut it to an 11.5 by 11.5 piece, okay? And I did that because when I lay it onto my Lagoon cardstock, I like the bigger border. Do you see that? Now, I could have cut it the way they did at 11 3/4, and it would have been this big, you know, just like in their picture. But I just like a little more. Now, I know that you guys have gutted paper before. Let me just show you how I do that really quick. I like at least 1 inch to 1.25 inches. And what I'm doing on my cutter is this trimmer goes past the cutting mark 1.25 inches. So sometimes I just line it up with that stripe right there, and I go down to 1.25 inches on this guide, and I just go down to 1.25 inches from the bottom. I don't want to raise up my camera, so there, that's why it looks weird. But then you just flip it like a clock, or counterclockwise, I guess it would be. And you just go from 1.25 inches to 1.25 inches, line it up on the line again, 1.25 inches on here, flip, turn, line it up. Now, you know, none of this has to be super precise because it's not going to show. This piece of paper is what you saved. And now I have, photo mats or scraps for other projects or whatever. So that is really great. Now I have this. Now, when I attach this paper to here, some people will put the adhesive on the back of the white piece and then put it down, but I like to put the adhesive onto my background. And the reason I do it this way is because I know how much is going to show. It's only going to be, like a 1/4 of an inch on each side or something. It's not a big amount. So I know my adhesive is not going to show. Sometimes when I put the adhesive on this piece, it shows on the back, like I get it off measure. And now the trick to putting this on, at the bottom, I eyeball my paper and I'm looking at this edge in the bottom and this edge in the bottom, and I am trying to make them all exactly the same. And as long as I have those exactly the same, the rest of the paper will be fine. See? Boom, boom, boom. And so I start at the bottom and then I just let it drop. As long as I have my bottom fairly straight. Now you can always grab a ruler. I love the Close to My Heart ruler. Let me grab it just to show you, it has a grid on it. And what's really nice too, if you're not trusting yourself, you could put it like 1/4 of an inch, lay it down, and then put your paper on, and you'll know it'll be straight. Now, I just, wing it. Hi, Stephanie. How's it going today? Surprising not, we are getting storms again this afternoon. Do you love it? Every Wednesday, there's something about the weather. I feel like the weather girl. Anyway, so let's do the messy part. Okay, so in the center, I just want you to take a close look at that, because when you're recreating, this is not just ink globbed on like it looks like. If you really look close, it is dark and soft. It's a little blotchy, and there are white stripes between each piece. I believe that was made with a gel pen. So I grabbed my gel pen, and that'll be last. And then there's also some spots here and there. And you can see, especially right there, that water was splattered on it and it softened it, that's what tells me they used a distress ink. So I could look up the recipe and blah, but I'm way too lazy for that. And so what I did was I got out my Distress Oxide, I got out my little blender tool, and I'm just going to, now we know, if you look at your ruler again, get out your ruler, I'm gonna hold it sideways this way. We know it starts at about 7 inches down from the top, and it has approximately 1.5 inches from each side. So if you wanted to, again, use your ruler and make a little pencil mark, you know, about 7.5 inches from the top, and then I can eyeball 1.5 inches or so from the side. So that's how much we're going to do. And then if you're wondering like how far from the top, it is about 1.5 inches or so from the top of the paper. So we are going to do a pretty good size of, we're going to do a lot of coloring here. Although you have to realize a lot of it is not even going to show. Okay, so you probably can't see it on camera, but I put some pencil tick marks in the area where we need to shade. And you know that, remember, this entire center is going to have a photo on it. So we're really going to focus around the edge of the picture, the edge. One thing about distress oxides versus like just plain inks is, man, they really blend easy and fast. And so you can get a really nice look pretty quickly. Okay. And I want a little in here. And I know I'm making it, I think I'm making it darker than what they show. I'm going to soften the edges just a little. Okay. All right. Ta-da. Now I'm going to also do page 2, but I'm going to do it a different technique just because I can. Now we know that there's little splotches on here, and what I like to do is, well, we don't even have to use a black. I have a water brush here just because it's a great source of water when I'm not near a sink. I'm going to sploosh some water out like this, and I'm going to tap it on, and know that, you know, you can tap on, you know, big areas, like you can make it, use your brush and make it bigger like that, or you can spatter. Okay, and I think that is plenty. Now, the thing about Distress Oxides when you do that is that it takes, I'm going to wipe up that water, it takes a minute for it to dry, but you can already see it reacting with the water and changing in color. It kind of looks like it has chicken pox. Okay, so there's that. We're going to let that dry. Now, the other thing that I was kind of thinking about was, okay, the photo mat is this really cool wood print that comes with this paper pack. Almost all of it is covered with a photo, and I love this wood print. I really think it's my favorite pattern in the entire pack. I don't want to use it up as a photo mat. I want to use it somewhere where it can really shine. And so I was kind of thinking about maybe using our technique. I'm going to set this aside. Do you remember the technique that we did before? Oh, it's been a while. where we made our own wood grain. And basically all it is making, using your scoring board. I'm going to move it into the camera zone and making lines and then swiping ink over it. Now I did this piece. This will be the size of my photo mat. And I swiped it with espresso and toffee with white daisy. This is shortbread, and this is just white daisy. And you can kind of look and see. You can put it on, you could compare it, you know, to the wood grain that came with it. I started with toffee, which actually the back of espresso might be a better color, but I like the toffee fine, and I like the softness of the whitewash look. So we could do both toffee and whitewash, or just the whitewash. And so you choose what you want. This is just a way to save on your pattern paper if you're like me and you really love the pattern and you know you're going to cover it up. Now, I don't want to use the dark side. I want to use the soft side. So, but I want the bumps to be upward, so I'm going to flip it over. And basically all I'm going to do is just kind of random. I'm not measuring, I'm not paying attention. I'm just doing this. I also, so see on the soft side now, we have the raised bumps. Now we can put the ink on that. Now I want to make a companion page. I cut this 9 by 9 because when I don't really know how big I want a, like if I don't really know, am I going to use 4 by 6 photos? Am I going to use 4 by 4s, 3 by 4s? What am I going to use? I like having a larger sheet of color where I can use any collage of photos on page 2 that I want. So, you know, I can rearrange any way I want, and no matter what, they have a little bit of color behind them, but it's not necessarily matted. So that's why I got those out, just to kind of give you an idea. Make sure it's flipped over. So I am going to do the same thing here, and I am going to random do this. Notice, now you could make your boards all exactly perfect, whatever. That's fine. Okay, let me put this away. All right, now here I have my pieces, and I have linen, I have white daisy. I kind of like the white daisy. So let me just swipe that. Now, white daisy is a pigment ink. It is not a dye ink, and so it doesn't swipe the same way as a dye. So let me just, I can kind of show you on the other one. I like how that looks, but I'm going to do more. Let me just show you. This is linen, which is the closest thing to white as that we have. That's a dye ink. And I am going to just put that on there, and you can see it adds a little bit of the darker color. And then if I put the linen over it, all right, so I'm making this kind of wood grain. It looks a little rough, but it needs to dry for sure, for sure. Let me just put, don't do what I'm doing. Don't do the linen last. It'll pick up your pigment ink and mess up your ink pad. We don't want that. I'm just putting a little on it to get some of that. Okay. All All right, these need to dry. This is pigment ink. It takes a moment. That's why I wanted to do it first. Wipe off my hand, wipe off my mat. These all-purpose mats are amazing. And you know, I have used if you can't afford an all-purpose mat from close to my heart, everybody makes one. And you can get them at like the dollar store. They're smaller in the cooking section because some people bake cookies on stuff like this. It works great. Okay, let's go to our next part is the strips. So I know I want a strip on each page. I'm making 2 pages, left and right, and I want them to be torn. I could just tear them, you know. You can see they just did kind of a random tear that started big and sloped down. If you aren't sure about tearing, sometimes what I'll do is I will wet the paper like this and just let it sit for a minute. This one we want bigger, and it goes down. I probably could have cut these a little smaller. And this one, I'm gonna start a little smaller. It sounds like my garage door just opened. I think Steve might be home. If you hear my dog barking, you'll know. Steve's been getting off a little early this week because they've been a little slow at work. And I told him, I said, of all days to have to work, it's like he's been called off. And then, of course, our anniversary day, he's like, I gotta go in. So, okay. So now I could just use this one piece, use one here, but I like this white edge. I want this white edge. I don't know if I want that much of the white edge. So I'm just gonna, what the water does is it kind of softens the paper fibers and it helps it to follow a line, you know. So you're not trying to make it like, if I try to tear this myself, sometimes I'll try to make it, it's too straight. It's too perfect. I try to make it too geometrical or something, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do for each of these pieces is I'm gonna go ahead and attach them together because, let me just put these here. That one's a little wet still. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and put those together. They're ready to roll. Okay, let's get our piece back here and look at our sheet. So now we are ready to make these, which we measured with our ruler to be 1.25 inches each. So what I did was I cut from each of the patterns 1.25 inch strip. So let me I have a couple here I want to show you. So I knew I wanted, it looked like there were, I don't know, 7. I think I only have 6 here, so I may have to cut one more. I'll have to see what I got. So what I'm doing, I'm lining up the edge here with the center here. So you can look at your 1.25 inch thing, or you can kind of fold it in half and make a pinch mark. And that will show you the center point of that. And I am gonna line the edge of one piece with the center there, and then hold it down and then do the cut. I have to actually hold it in the right place. Hold on. I'm used to using my chopper for this, not the, there we go. Okay, so there's one. And then on the other side, same thing. So cut the edge and go to the center. So you have the edge on the cut mark here and the center point here. And then you end up with the point, okay? So here I'm gonna do it again. If I kind of pinch the center, that gives me a center point. You can mark it with a pencil if that helps. I don't know if you can see it any better, but basically I'm just putting the edge and the center on the guide, okay? And then holding it down and making that cut. So I'm cutting off, you know, from point to point. All right, come on. It's like stuck, sticking, static. Okay, edge to center and holding it down. And then you have your points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I need one more. Why did I do that? What other color? It looks like I need another stripe. So I'm gonna cut an 1.25 inch stripe. And I think I made them 5 inches just because I just figured that way they'll tuck fine. You know what I mean? All right. There to there. I have the center. I have the point. There's one. I have that. I have the center point. There's two. All right. Get all my parts and pieces out of there, the garbage. Okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready to put this page together. Let's see if this is dry. Oh yeah, pretty good. Okay, so now I know you're looking at this and you're going, this is not the same as what's in the layout. But by the time you put a photo over it, look how close it is. I feel like it's close enough. That's just my opinion. Now you can use the paper, use the pattern paper if you want. But I'm just like, I'm kind of stingy, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and I'm just gonna attach this on here just so we know what that is. Okay, and then we're going to arrange our pieces. So we know the interesting thing about this, that if you really look close, these things come under the photo, not under the photo mat. Look at that. It's under the photo, not under the mat. So I notice I didn't really glue that photo down, right? So we have one that comes out here. And then we have the anchors here and over here. And we have another stripe here. I may have to cut those stripes down a little bit. And then one here, here, and here. So what I'm going to do now, see, to me, mine look very fanned, and this doesn't look that fanned. They actually, I think, are a lot shorter. So I'm going to cut the tips off of these a little bit. Maybe you could even get by with a 4-inch or something. I'm just going to chop the tips off of those. These can be longer a little bit. All right, so I'm going to start in the center. And I don't really need the very end. I'm gonna use liquid glue just for sake of time. And I'm gonna make it so that I'm gonna glue it down to the photo mat, not to my paper. Do you see that? Just like that. And I'm gonna do that with all the pieces. I kind of want, I'm gonna cut the tips off of all of these. I don't need them. I kind of want to do the stripes, all the stripes first. I think what they did was they angled it more. So I'm gonna put a little glue on there and put that one on like that. And then the other side. So what's everybody else doing? What are you doing today, Stephanie? Anything exciting? My daughter was all excited because today's our wedding anniversary, and she's like, what are you gonna do? You gotta do something special. And I'm like, well, we never really do. Isn't that weird? This is our 37th wedding anniversary, and you would think, oh my gosh, we would party down or something. But you know, my philosophy about wedding anniversaries and things like that is that if every day is good, you don't need to make one day extra special. That's kind of how I feel about like Valentine's Day too. So we try to make every day good. We try to do something really nice for each other every day, and it makes life nice. So, all right. I kind of like that. All right, so there's our thing. It's gonna go down like this. Now the other thing that's missing is the white stripe. You know, I told you there's like a white stripe between every thing, and there are a few more extra white things. So I have the size 10 jelly roll, and I'm gonna put a mark. I'm gonna put a mark like this between each thing, just so then I can use a ruler. I'll use my ruler. I'm gonna use the short part of the ruler here. And I'm just gonna anyway, I started Weight Watchers again, yay, last week, and I don't even want to eat out. I feel like I'm doing so good because I'm still in that early phase when it's all, you know, exciting and stuff before you start losing your mind with your diet. And I'm like, you know, we really don't need to even eat out. But we might go out to eat tonight. We'll see. We tend to get stuff to go a lot because the restaurants drive us crazy. Let's see. All right, nice. And then when I put these back on, you can see there are white stripes. I didn't do it perfectly, but it's close enough. It's close enough. Here, I'll put a white stripe there. And then I'm a terrible drawer when it comes to straightness, but I think it'll be fine. And then I've noticed there's a few like white dots that are drawn in. I'm gonna do a few of those in addition to my water spots that I have. All right, I like that. So there is basically page 1. Let me go ahead and adhere this down. I should adhere all those little things since I'm making. All right. And Now they show it really high up to the top like this, but I'm gonna move it down just a little. Okay. Ta-da. So there is my version of the page. I have the paper at the bottom. And remember, oh yeah, it's only 11.5 inches wide, so I can cut that down a little bit. Forgot to cut it down. Remember, there's going to be a zip strip at the bottom. I'm going to leave a little space there while I decide. I might even use the shells at the bottom instead of the sticker sheet. I don't know yet. I'll use something. I might even, if I don't use this as the beach paper, I have lots of photos that would look great on this. I could use just pattern paper. I could even use the like the periwinkle at the bottom. It would look really nice. So let's see. So I could do that instead of a zip strip or the sticker. But I just want to show you the sticker sheet. Where did I put my sticker sheet? Let me grab it out here. I have everything nearby. It's just, I didn't pull it out like I was going to. Okay, so here's the sticker sheet that goes at the bottom. If you decide to use that, they used the Vitamin C, Paradise Found, and Beach Bum right here on the side. And then they used the beach was from the accessory pack. And this is from the little blue shell is from the accessory pack. The little seagulls are from this accessory pack. So you can use your stamp set. They used the Cape Cod scrapbooking stamp set, and you know, gosh, you can make this anything you want, decorate it any way you want. You know, on your club layouts, you might notice I used this coral, and what I did was I put it on one way, and then I put on the little seahorse, and then I put the other piece this way, so it looked like he was like kind of between the pieces or whatever. And then you can use your accessories to put on a shell. They used a shell and they used white gel pen on it, so that's really cool. My favorite piece in all of the little shapes is this coral, this brown coral. Gosh, so some of you have that on your layouts and some don't. They also put the coral over here to go with the title. So there you go. Since I made my white page a bit smaller, that's why I have a little bit less space here. Like I could have moved everything up and had a little more space for a title here, but I'm not going to use the beach as my title. Ooh, Stephanie, I want to see your cards. I want to see your cards. I'm dying to see those. You should jump on here on live and show them. So here's another thing. I want to make page 2 look like page 1. I'm gonna, here I go again. I gotta trim this off. Hold on a sec. I just eyeballed that. And I left a little strip at the bottom for a zip strip or cardstock. Now remember, I made that other bigger piece for this page like this, okay? So you can see page 2 is going to kind of look like page 1, on a different scale because I want more photos. This will highlight one photo, right? I can lift this up now, I think, so you can see both pages easier. So this is page 1, you know, to highlight like one main photo. And then this one, by adding a 9x9 block, I don't have to make a whole bunch of individual photo mats. But what I do want to do is I want to do this Distress Oxide ink again. Now, I want a different look this time, and this is a little messier, so let me move my page out of the way. So I'm going to use my Distress Oxide, and I'm going to smoosh onto my all-purpose mat, and then I'm going to drip some water on, and I just want to kind of mix that a little bit, and I want it to be a little, you know, gloppy. And the more water you add, the more diluted it will look when you're done. But okay, I should have done this before I attached my white page, but here I go. I'm going to put this on the edge. And see, what happens is you get this like kind of watery look, right? And I have my paper here, and you know, this is going to cover the most of it. So what I'm looking for is water drops on the edge. Okay, I know, messy, messy, messy. I want a little in this corner. Look at that, isn't that cool? And maybe a little off to the side. Okay, now I need to wipe my mat down before I do anything else. Wipe off my mess. Now this is a little wet, but not terrible. You would expect it to be like wet. It's not bad. I could hit it with my heat gun or just leave it the way it is. But what I love is, okay, I'm moving it close so you can see. I have just a little bit of water splush here, and a lot over here, okay? And when I put my 9x9 mat on there, you know, it will show just like that. The other thing that's a possibility that you could do if you want water drops is, let me grab it, is to take like a shimmer pen and do kind of the same thing. You put it on your all-purpose mat. Come on. You've seen me do this before too. I like to, I have a couple of colors. For some reason, air gets locked into them. Like if I release the air and then pop them, it's gotta be the way I use them. So, and then you can just kind of flick. And I'm gonna flick a little up here. And to me that looks like ocean spray or something. It's kind of cool. And this color is Seabrook, but there's Glacier you could use. I'm gonna get my paper towel again, or my rag again. Any of the blues would look great. This one's Seabrook. It has a little bit more of a kind of a green tone. Okay, and then I'm gonna take my fake wood grain that I made. Again, I did not want to use up my cool wood grain pattern paper, so I made my own, and I'm just gonna put that so there's an approximate even border on the sides like that. I like how it's spattered on there. As a matter of fact, I know some people will take their brush and even just make fake bigger, you know, bigger spatters on their own just to, you know, really make it stand out a little more. But I like it just spattered on. So whatever you want. When it dries, I mean, it may look ridiculous to you, but walk away and come back and you'll look at it and go, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. And the other thing that makes some really neat water look is the white spray. So if you're not using, you know, a white piece of paper, I think Friday I'm going to show you a technique of making like an ocean using that white gloss spray, because it's pretty cool. The gold gloss spray looks really neat on here too, because it has that shimmery sand look, so that's a possibility too. So here is my page basically remade, and remember, I told you I have no idea what photos I'm going to use for here. I don't have a lot of beach photos left, but this happiness comes in waves, and you know, paradise found, happy as a clam. I can use happy place. Any of those I can do without a water theme. I could do that, you know, just us having a picnic. I mean, it wouldn't have to be at the beach, which is what I appreciate, since I don't always have beach pictures living in central Illinois, right? So here's what I like. I can use different sized photos and put them on here, and it's not like they all have to have a photo mat. And I can use one piece as like a journaling. I can make a journaling card with one of them. So I really appreciate that I can, you know, in that layout, rearrange. Let's just say my photos are vertical and I want to do something a little differently with vertical photos. So I can put that there. I can put a photo in here. So, you know, that's what I like about having the background piece, is that when I get my pictures to put in place, I can just put them, you know, as scrapbookers, we're good at arranging our photos. It's the decoration part that, you know, takes a little time. So, okay, that is what I have to show today, and I hope that you guys take another look at that Cape Cod, because I really do think that there's some cool embellishments and stuff that you could use. And I don't know, this time I think they really knocked the embellishments out of the park. They're my favorite thing out of the whole group. After doing all those club layouts, you know, I did quite a few. I have yours here, Margie. You know, it is really, really nice to like pull them out and play with them, because there are so many and they're all really useful. I think the least useful to me are the anchors. I'm like, I don't have water pictures that much, and when I do, they're often pool instead of beach. But I love this. I love this. Life's a beach, find your wave. That's a perfect thing. I could do pictures of Jen at work on here and do her happy place and life's a beach, find your wave, or her reading, you know, anything like that. So I love it. And then of course the sparkles, I have to add bling. So, you know, the little sparkle gems are really fun, and you can color those with your alcohol markers or just leave them the way they are. So yay. All right. Okay, Stephanie, I want to see those cards. I can't wait. I'll chat with you guys later. Bye-bye.